Plan to explain story which is easy to understand. So when we learn story, when we listen or watch stories, that time we learn things new words, new vocabulary, and we also get to know how to make sentence while watching a video or how to structure questions, and all we learn while watching or reading stories. They are really helpful for learning English. So I thought of explaining this story today. The village, the village where I was born has changed greatly over the last 20 years now. 20 years. Now there are many modern shops in the place where my school used to be. All the children who went there have grown up and moved away. The local cinema, which was built several years ago, used to be a community house where people gathered together. The football ground, which was my favorite place as a child, is now a public park. Some things are still the same, though Mrs. Tamang, who is now 60 years old, still works at a small tea shop. So here's some how the things were when he was child that time. Things are not same like now. So he is telling the village where he was born has changed greatly. Some modern shops have opened. Earlier it was not the same like now. So greatly changed over the last 20 years. So past 20 years things were not same like now. There are many modern shops in the place where my school used to be. So like in his school earlier when he used to go school, in that school place now they built it shops. There are modern shops where modern means like at present how we get things. It did not the same like earlier. Things have not same like now. Like we get old kind of things, and those were different than compared to now. Now modern means recent. They made new ideas, new design to sell things at shops. Modern means at present how we get things the same way. In his village they are getting things. So earlier it was not the same like now. So and that shops were in his school. Now they have built in his school place area. That time earlier, which was his school, now in that same place they have built modern shops. That is what it means. Now it has greatly, like some degree, they have improved greatly over the last 20 years. Means things have, like it shows that how the things some extent much than earlier 20 years ago, not the same like now. That is what it means. All the children, like where my school used to be, like these shops opened. So before, this place was his school earlier. In that same place they have built modern shops. And next, all the children who went there have grown up and moved away. So some other children who used to go at that place, that school, now they have grown up. Grown up means they have become mature, adult, and they were not in that same place. They have gone somewhere. That is what it means. When they were children, that time they used to go this school, and they were in that same village. But now they moved away. They are not in this village now. That is what it means. The local cinema, which was built several years ago, the local cinema which was built like a cinema hall where they put related to like local language, what language they talk. So related to that they uh, release cinemas, like local cinema. So which was built several years ago, more than 2 years. Used to be a community house. So earlier, before building this cinema, that place was community house where people gathered together. Community means where like people have the same interest and same character. Those people go and they gather together. They talk about their interest and related to profession or business. So because of that, that people used to go this place. Now, like few years ago, several years ago, they have built it in that same community house. They built a local cinema. That is what it means. Earlier, it was community hall. Now, like 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, they built a cinema hall. They built it cinema in that same place. The football ground, which was my favorite place as a child, is now a public park. When he was kid that time, football ground, which was his favorite place when he was child. Now they have uh, now they have made it public park. Now they have built it public place, public park. Some things are still the same. Though Mrs. Taman, who is now 60 years old, still works at a small tea shop. Some things have changed from the past 20 years and some things are also remained same like before. That is what he is saying. When he was a kid, when he was child, that time, football ground was his favorite place. And now it has turned into park. Now they have constructed park in that place. Earlier it was football ground. Now it is no more football ground. Now it is park. That is what he is telling. And some things have changed from the past 20 years and some things have not changed. Some things remain the same like before. Like Mrs. Taman, who is now 60 years old, this lady, who has been working at her tea shop, and she is 60 years old and still she works. She works at a shop, at a small tea shop. She didn't change anything from the past years. She is doing the same things what she does before. She has been doing the same thing. She works at a small tea shop. That is what he's telling. Some things have changed and some things also remain the same. Like this woman who is 60 years old now, Mrs. Tamman, still she works at a small tea shop. And next one. Here they have given some sentence. We have to choose correct one. Read each pair of sentence and tick the correct one. We have to tick the correct one. The children who went to school have grown up. Next one. The children which went to school have grown up. Here in this two sentences we have to choose the children who went. This one is correct. A1 is correct because we use who to talk about persons. But which is when the objects are some things, that time we choose to use which, because we are talking about here kids, like not things. So we should use who. The children who went to school have grown up. Now they have grown up. Children. This one is wrong. The children which went to school is wrong. This one, first one is correct. The football ground, who was my favorite place, is no more there. The football ground, which was my favorite place, is no more there. This one is correct. This last one is correct. The football ground, which, because we are talking about place, objects, that time we use which, not who. If the things here, like subject is person, that time we can use here. The children, like here humans, that time we can use who. Living things and all we can use who. Here objects, we are talking about like place. So that time when we use who, which is not correct, which is incorrect way of saying. Like the football ground, which was my favorite place, is no more there. Now they have turned into park. Relative pronouns. Relative pronouns who, whose, whom, which, that introduce relative clauses, which use relative clauses to identify the noun in the main clause. The noun who owns the shop is Nepali. The clause who owns the shop is a relative clause because it identifies the person who are talking about. We use pronouns like in the place of nouns. So like here, the children. Again we have to say the children who went to school. So we can use same like, no, pronouns are nothing but we use the pronouns in the place of noun. The children who went, who is a pronoun, and here the children, the football ground, who, this is also pronoun. Which, who, that is what they have mentioned here. The class who owns the shop is a relative class because it identifies the person we are talking about. Like as I said before, like in the place of noun, we use like it shorten the saying subject. Sometimes we say like suppose if I want to say example, Ram is a good boy. Ram goes to school. Ram goes to school every day. So we can say Ram is a good boy. He goes to school every day. Instead of saying his name, we can use pronouns like he. Those words are called as pronouns. So that is the use of pronoun. When we learn pronouns, it helps us to make the things shorter. And instead of saying longer sentence, we can lessen by adding like who here. The football ground, which was my favorite place. The football ground was my favorite place. Like saying, repeatedly saying subject, we can use pronouns. That is the reason why we need to use pronouns or learn pronouns. Yeah. This is a simple and short story. When we focus on these stories or when we learn, really it helps to improve our English day by day. Even just for half an hour or 20-25 minutes when you spend time on learning this kind of stories, really it helps. Really it helps someone to learn. Even if you don't know anything from English, you can at least learn some things from this story. Some words and all, like grammar, like use it to be, how to use it to be when the things are there earlier. And in that same place they have changed many things. So we get to know when we read books or stories. That is the reason we have to read stories or watch to enhance our English communication. or improve someone's level of English. At the beginning, when we start this simple short story, even though you may feel this very simple, but when we want to say some things, even little sentence, we make mistakes. We may get struck while speaking. So that is the reason even small errors can make huge difference. So when we correct a small mistake, that will add up, that will look beautiful when we are saying things in correct and proper way. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you understand this story. Thank you. Bye for now.